What's going on, everybody? This is Afro Think Tank. I think for this Black History Month, in this year of 2026, we need to make something very clear, all right? And we need not to repeat the propaganda by them white folk that try to make themselves feel better about the end of slavery, all right? African Americans, Africans who were enslaved in America, no white man freed us. No guy named Abraham Lincoln freed us. We freed ourselves. The same way the Haitians freed themselves, we freed ourselves too, okay? So we can be proud about the Haitians freeing themselves, right? And we don't have to measure ourselves up to them and feel any kind of way because we in fact freed ourselves too. The only difference is they freed themselves and was able to create the first black nation on the Western Hemisphere because they had the whole island. We, unfortunately, African Americans, wasn't a large enough population, and America is too big for us to completely take over. But we, in fact, freed ourselves. We left those plantations ourselves. We took up arms and started killing the enemy ourselves, and that's why we're free. So don't let anybody ever tell you that a white man felt sorry for you and freed you. Don't ever let them let them believe that, oh, the liberal side, they felt bad, and don't let them take credit for us freeing ourselves. Africans were enslaved and we liberated ourselves from enslavement from those white people. That is in fact a fact. And don't you ever forget it. African Americans freed ourselves. Anyway, that's all I gotta say. Is Afro Think Tank. Learn something, teach something. I'm out.
Black Americans played a decisive role in the Civil War, from self-emancipation to our military service, even the organizing efforts we led during the Civil War. What followed the Civil War was not justice, it was compromise. It was harm reduction, similar to what we're doing now. Reconstruction policies were weakened, former Confederate leadership regained power and influence. New legal systems evolved to restrict black freedoms in different ways, to maintain the effects of slavery. Early reparative efforts were rolled back in several states. These outcomes shaped American institutions for several generations. This ain't about blaming nobody or pointing no fingers. This is about understanding history more accurately so we can have more informed decisions about what we're doing now. At this moment in time, we are repeating history in this country. Stop erasing and skipping over the details we don't understand or simply disagree with and don't want to be true. We need to take it all in, the good, the bad, and the ugly. That is how life works. That's how history works. That's how the universe works.
The myth is that Lincoln freed the slaves, but Lincoln says in 1860 and 1861, it is a lie and a slander that we have any intention to abolish slavery in the slave colonies of the South, in the slave states of the South. This is just a lie, he says. So why does it happen? Well, it happens because, as W.E.B. Du Bois puts it in his great book, Black Reconstruction from 1935, the slaves took matters into their own hands. 500,000 of them fled from the South, withdrew their labor from the Confederacy, found their way to Union lines, and Lincoln's generals are going, what do we do with these people? What's our policy? And initially the policy was return them to their masters. But they refused to go back. They came in such numbers that this wasn't viable. And a few of the more radical Republican generals said, I'm not returning them. They were defying Lincoln, but they were defying Lincoln because enslaved people were forcing the issue. And ultimately, 200,000 of these self-emancipated black men find their way into the Union Army and Navy. Women serve as cooks and as spies. We often forget that the great Harriet Tubman, who had led a series of raids to free family members and then to free non-kin fugitives, was the most accomplished spy for the Union Army. Lincoln eventually provided a pass which said, Harriet Tubman can go wherever she wants, because the point is, she could provide intelligence to the Union Army that no one else could provide. So this was a movement of self-emancipation. Enslaved people forced emancipation on the Union, on President Lincoln, through their own militancy, their resistance, and their mass flight from the South. So yes, history starts to look very different. And once again, we see the withdrawal of the labor of 500,000 people both crippled the Confederacy. That's a huge withdrawal of labor power, 500,000 people, and it was adding labor power to the Union military forces. And this is a reminder of where social power lies in our society.
And who are the agents of history?
In the year 1739-1858 we freed ourselves from slavery through the Gullah Wars. Black slaves used to run to the south, and many so-called educators tell you that we used to run to the north, and that's not true. We used to run to Florida, and that's when we set up a military called the Seminole Militia or Gullah Military. Seminole Indians, as you know, are not a race of people. Seminole means fugitive runaway slaves. So when the Africans that was transported to America decided to meet up with the Africans that was already in America, they created a military called Seminole Militia. Indian just means black, like Indian come from the word indigo, which means black. So even when you say Indian, you're basically saying a black person. In the 1800s the black Indians and the Africans clicked up because the black Indians knew the ways of the land and the Africans knew the locations of slave plantations they used to run from. They would leave signs in the woods in the wilderness for escaped slaves to find them, and from there they would slaughter the slaves' masters one by one and free the slaves. In 1842 the Seminoles were going to war with United States and his own documents on record, and won multiple wars. There was a total of 400 black men up against 1,200 white men. It was so bad that Abraham Lincoln didn't really have a choice but to free the slaves. We freed ourselves from slavery.
Waited around for the military after a while. No. When Major General Granger came and said that, hey, we ain't gonna play with y'all, y'all gotta get off them plantations, African Americans started doing it themselves. They started meeting up at the North. So don't make it seem like you grabbed our hand and led us nowhere. You did not do that. If one thing history's told you about the African Americans, that we will march only peacefully when you try to harm us, but we will not play. So I'm gonna say this. Ain't nobody ever gave us a handout. Ain't nobody ever took our hand and gave us nothing. We even waited 2 years extra to be free from slavery. So to think that we was on these plantations and not being unalived every day because we wasn't trying to stay there, stop playing. I promise you we was. I promise you, I know my people. For anybody to think that African Americans were just laying there and just being enslaved, you are absolutely out of your mind.
I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all. I'm blickety black, blacker than black, black, I'm blacker than black, yo, because I'm black and I'm back. Yo, I'm black and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all.
Free Sudan, boycott diamonds and gold. Free Sudan, boycott diamonds and gold. We most definitely cannot forget about the people of Sudan.
Thanks for watching Afro Think Tank. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And follow me on Substack and Patreon for more content. Remember, it's Pan-Africanism or nothing.